Welcome back to the podcast. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves.
Hayden Bender here, back at it again.
Gavin McAfee.
John Metzger.
And Will Robinson.
All right, well, we got a lot of talk to get into. Obviously, a big week of college football has just ended. We're actually going to start with, I wouldn't call it an upset, but good win for Ole Miss, taking down LSU. Ole Miss kind of shut down LSU defensively. You know, LSU's offense really couldn't get anything rolling. Ole Miss was able to move the ball on LSU's defense pretty easily for most of the game. I thought Nussmeier would play a little better, but they couldn't get anything in the run game going, especially with Caden Durham being out for the whole game. So, good win for Ole Miss as they move on to SEC play. And LSU's not dead in the water yet, but there's obviously some big things to fix for the Tigers.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely not dead, that's for sure. But I mean there's some questions there. I mean, you start right the quarterback play to start. I mean Nussmeier didn't play that very good of a game. You know he was, a Heisman favorite for a few of us in here. So he's a step it up a little bit. But what surprised me the most was honestly Ole Miss's offense. I know they only scored 24 points, but they looked, at least when I was watching, they looked electric. And when I picked them, that's originally what I thought was, LSU could probably outscore them more than they could defend them, but that was kind of the opposite of the game. So, I mean, Ole Miss, sorry, they looked like they were just the better team. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think when we look at LSU, I think they might be very similar to a team in the Big Ten that we'll probably talk about here in a couple seconds. I just don't think they're going to be able to get it done in the big games. Um, they just Ole Miss just came out like I predicted last week. Thought Ole Miss would come out and get the job done, and that's what they did.
Yeah, I don't know. LSU's my hopeful natty pick, and Nuss is my Heisman favorite, but they just didn't feel like they really wanted to play offense. I mean, their defense has been very good, I think, throughout the season already. I don't think that was like a question mark at all, but they tried relying on their defense when in the SEC, I feel like especially you need to score points more than anything. I mean, the SEC is not very much of those, like you find those like big defensive teams. I think they're more high scoring, and Ole Miss looked like that team. Ole Miss looked like the team that was going to be high scoring, and they did. Ole Miss just completely outplayed them in all honesty, I think. I mean, other than like a few aspects, I think Ole Miss had that game in control more than anything throughout that game.
Yeah, I think that Ole Miss looked pretty good. And having that game be at home, I did predict them to win. I think that LSU will have a lot more of opportunities to prove themselves. But I think that Clemson game kind of just strayed us away from the fact that, they aren't too good. I mean, as of right now, I think that they could definitely improve on a lot, but they'll definitely still be in the hunt. They just gotta prove themselves in games like when they play Bama. We'll see if Nussmeier can improve himself, and we'll see if Ole Miss can continue.
All right, we're going to move into another SEC showdown that took place Saturday night. Alabama, a team that we thought was a roller coaster after that Florida State game, went into Athens, Georgia, and beat Georgia, ending the longest home winning streak of 33 games. We all picked Georgia, so we were dead wrong on these picks. I thought Georgia would look a lot better offensively, but Alabama's defense, the amount of drastic improvement I saw from them from the Florida State game to that game was pretty good. Ty Simpson looked like he was very comfortable. I know the crowd was got to be electric at Georgia, but it didn't look like it bothered him that much. Ryan Williams made some nice plays. Their receiving corps stepped up a big ton. So obviously we can't say officially Bama's back with their tough schedule coming up, but it was a good sign for Kalen DeBoer. And the fact that he's 2-0 against Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs is just insane to me. So overall, I think Georgia's got some things to fix. I think they'll be fine. But I think these were just two good teams. I think Bama was just a better team that night.
yeah, I agree. I think what shocked me the most was, that Ty Simpson played better than Gunnar Stockton. Because if you would have asked me, I think Gunnar Stockton is a better player, but I mean, Ty Simpson played very, very good for that Bama offense. He was efficient. He took care of the ball pretty well, and he made the right reads when Stockton did not. So, It was very surprising to see, especially Bama get out to that quick start. I mean, they had all their points in the first half, so the fact that they didn't lose in that second half, where Georgia usually proves that they're the better team because of depth and whatever, it was shocking to see that Georgia didn't come back and win. So good performance by Bama, and likewise they only held them to 7 in the second. So I mean they played pretty good defense as well, like Bro said. So very shocking.
Yeah, I think this was a huge game from Bama. Obviously, I feel like they've probably heard the noise about, like, are they still Bama? Obviously, we all picked against them. A lot of other people picked against them too. Um, and they came out ready to play, and they pretty much dominated, I think. And Georgia, I just don't think Georgia was ready for him to come out like that. I think they were kind of sleeping on him a little bit too. And like you guys said, Ty Simpson was playing out of his mind. So, yeah, Bama came to play, and they were able to go beat Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my doubts on Bama quite a bit. I'm not very much of a fan of how last year went for such a great program to just miss the playoffs and all that, but I feel like that was a statement win for them to kind of prove that they aren't, they haven't lost their Bama ways and they are a really good team and they looked in control of that game for most of it. And I mean that offensive lineman play, I mean, that to me kind of like showed how that game was going. I mean, he was just throwing DBs around like they were nothing to him. So, yeah, they looked like a complete team. They look like a scary team that can definitely make the college football playoff now with a big win on the road against Georgia.
Yeah, for them, I think that Bama needed this one pretty badly. It was a tough task going to Georgia to try and play
Yo,
them.
Will Rob.
And in the first half, their offense looked really good.
And Will
In
Rob
the second
has
half,
had
it
some
kind of
technical
slowed down a
difficulties
bit,
here.
the game as a whole, but I think that they
So,
looked in
should we wait on
control.
him or should we just get to the
Tyson
next
looked
one?
really well, and
Just
they
keep
got it
going.
done in a tough
Just
environment,
just
really.
go.
And
Just go.
I really should have
Yeah.
known
All right,
These
this
are
well,
one
the
just
year.
last thing
reviews.
we're going to
Bama
cover
has
from
just been
last
having
week was,
Georgia's number for so long.
yeah, we got to
Georgia
talk
got
about
the
a
one
team
win in the
in the Big
playoffs,
Ten
but
that has a good
for the
history
most
of
part,
losing these big
Bama
games.
just owns them.
That's
So
Penn
I
State
think for Georgia,
absolutely
I mean, they'll be
shitting one
fine.
down their
I think that
throat
they'll come back from this,
against
but
Oregon.
Bama's got a lot of momentum
Again,
now.
this was just another example of Drew Allen, man. These big games, man, he
What?
always plays like garbage. And it showed once again when the big moments were needed, Penn State could not make the plays needed. So, again, James Franklin, as I'm the only one who predicted this, was going to lose another big game. Like all these idiots were like, Penn State's back. Nope, they're still the normal Penn State. They're still not good. And there's potential they could lose 2 more games to Ohio State and Indiana the way they've looked. But Oregon, credit them. They went in the whiteout, got a huge win. Oregon is undefeated in Big Ten regular season play in the 2 seasons they've been in the Big Ten. So for them, this is a huge step up, and this is just proving to us why they're going to be a national championship contender this year, I believe.
All right, so first of all, I know you were the only one that picked Oregon, but you were on the fence for a while, so don't take too much credit. And second of all, Oregon, like Penn State, almost choked this game away very quickly as well. They're up 17-3 in the fourth, almost, as you would say, pooped it down their throat, which makes no sense. But yeah, they almost did that same exact thing and sold the game as well. So it was very close. And, I know Penn State obviously in the end fumbled the game, or more likely threw a pick. Aller did. But I thought he played better than people give him credit for. He was efficient. Yes, he didn't throw for too many yards, but he threw for 2 touchdowns as well. So I think Penn State still has a very legitimate shot to win a Natty this year. I mean, yes, they've got the history of losing these big games, but I mean they almost came back and they should have won the game, at least in my opinion. And for Oregon, man, their quarterback play was good. Moore, what's his first name?
Dante Moore.
Dude, he looked like best quarterback in the country after that game. He was efficient, multiple touchdowns, about 300 yards, I think it was. So, I mean, that was impressive, but I wouldn't count out Penn State, that's for sure. I know they got Ohio State and Indiana, but I think they beat Indiana, and then they give a 50-50 against Ohio State.
My turn to speak?
I really I really don't believe in Ohio State too much still. I know they beat Texas, but I mean, to count Indiana out because they play those two teams is not fair. And bro, so you can
What
say
the
whatever you
hell did I
want, but
just
Julian
walk
Sayin
into?
has not looked like a very good quarterback. So in a tough game, that could be a problem. I'm sorry, because he's not that good as you think he is.
Yep,
Go
here
ahead.
we go. Yep, here we go with this.
That's not even, dude, that's not even a hot take. That's just honest truth that he's saying.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm taking Julian Sayin over Drew Aller every single day of the week. That's what I'm doing that every single time. You can keep saying how Drew Aller played decent. He's not better than Julian Sayin. I'm sorry to tell you that.
All
I
right.
just disagree.
Yeah, like Hayden was saying, I think this was Penn State's game to win. When they finally started to pick it up, you could tell that they played absolutely nobody all year because they came in this game like they were sleeping the whole time. I mean, honestly, till halftime, both teams were playing good defense, 3-3, and then that second half started, and Penn State was like asleep for the start of it, and they started finally picking it back up though, and they looked like a very good football team. And it really just came down to one play in overtime, and that's what it's going to come down to. Yeah, once again, they lose a big game, and the main thing that concerns me is that it was at Penn State, and it was this whiteout, this big atmosphere that, according to James Franklin on game day, was supposed to be the greatest atmosphere in college football history, and then they come out and lose the game. So that's the only thing that concerns me, but I do think Penn State's still a pretty good team. I just don't know if they'll be able to get it done in the rest of the big games that they'll have this year.
Yeah, I mean, props to Oregon. I mean, that's a hostile environment to come into and get a big win in overtime. But I will say what that game told me was Penn State can fight through adversity, and they're not a team that's just gonna, they go down two scores, and they were down two scores in the fourth quarter too. And I mean, you come back down 14, that's still a good win. I know it's not another victory in in that win column, but it is still the showing proof that okay, you can handle adversity and you can get through, a tough time in the game. And I think they got to have a lot of that now, having a loss on the board right now and, having Ohio State still to play. But I think they'll be good. I think they'll be in the playoffs, like Bender said. But they got to be able to take that adversity. And, if they go down big against Ohio State, they got to be able to climb back out of that. But props to Oregon. I think they look like a legit team, and that showed from everywhere. I mean, both those defenses played insane too. Like that was a heavily defensive matchup more than anything. And I don't know. I think it was a really good game. I think it was just pure Big Ten football at the end of the day.
Yeah, did you guys talk about Ohio State, Washington for a bit earlier?
No, no.
No, we
Hayden just
talked.
decided to bring that up.
Yeah, he just
I
brought
don't
it up.
I don't really understand this talk about Julian saying they really haven't opened up the game plan for him. He hasn't made like any mistakes. The few mistakes that have been made have really just been fluke interceptions that come off of tip balls. He's not the tallest quarterback, so that'll happen every once in a while. And I mean, he gets the ball to his playmakers, and he doesn't make bad decisions. He throws it away when he needs to, and I don't think he's doing anything wrong. I think so far he's looked better than Drew Aller, and I don't think it's crazy to say that. I think as far as this game goes, which I'm supposed to be talking about, I think Oregon's defense looked really well, and I should have picked them to win. I should have known that big game James couldn't get it done. But, yeah, Will Bros picked them. But, yeah, it was not very crazy to see because we're used to this at this point. Even at Penn State, even a whiteout, they still couldn't get it done. And I mean, I'm just so shocked that Penn State couldn't get the run game going. I mean, until the fourth quarter late, I mean, they weren't doing anything at all. It was just getting completely shut down. And I think for a team that's supposed to have, quote unquote, their best team ever, as some people like to say, they got to win that game. They get it to overtime, they get it to double overtime, and Drew Aller makes a questionable ball. It was a great play to pick it off, but still, I mean, they got to win that game. They got to find a way. And honestly, as an Ohio State fan, I think seeing them lose this game gives me more confidence. I mean, I was expecting them to win this game, and they didn't. I think Ohio State has a stronger team than Oregon. I think Oregon looked pretty well. They look good, and they'll be in the playoffs for sure. But Ohio State is a better team than Oregon, and I think that'll bode well, especially being in Columbus.
Yeah, I really agree with you there. It was like a game, so we'll see how both these teams respond. So Hayden Bender has officially left us. I don't know what happened to him. But is there anything else you want to tack on, like from games that you saw, or before we make our picks for next week?
Yeah,
Um,
the Cincinnati Kansas game. Uh,
Here we go.
Cincinnati goes into Kansas' first Big 12 opponent of the year. It's a pretty good environment to play in. We went down late in the fourth quarter, and we just proved that we're a good football team in our last drive. I think we had one timeout left under 2 minutes, and Brendan Sorsby once again leads us to victory. Takes the ball all the way down the field, just throwing dime after dime all the way down the field, and then we punch it in the end zone to bring home that dub. And I think that was huge for our head coach Satterfield, because so many people have been calling for him to be fired already. He's only in his third season, and I think that was a big win for him going on the road for our first Big 12 game of the year. And we should have a tough one coming up, but I think Sorsby will be able to lead us to victory once again. And then the Bearcats will be ranked in the top 25. Go Cats.
Yeah, the one team I got to talk about that responded big time, Illinois. They responded big time, beating that West Coast Big Ten team once again, just showing West Coast ain't built for Big Ten football. They could take down USC. USC lost a bunch of offensive linemen due to injury in this game. I think that had a big impact on their quarterback because the first half he looked really good, throwing the ball down the field. Second half he just looked flustered, like he had to roll out of the pocket. I don't know, he's getting constant pressure. So for me, it was just shocking to see Illinois the way they bounced back after getting absolutely obliterated by 50 points against Indiana. But as we saw, Indiana just struggled with Iowa, but Iowa's a tough place to play. So I think for Illinois, it's a good sign. They got Ohio State coming up. Could they pull it off? Maybe, we'll see. But yeah, that's a team that I think responded very well.
Yeah, I picked those guys. Just wanted to say that. Saw it coming. That's all. Go Illini, baby.
It was a great bounce back win for the Illini after they got absolutely schmacked by Indiana.
Right. So. Saved their season.
Yeah, I mean, they did have a bailout PI call, though, that got him in the field goal range. I mean, yeah, I feel like that should be talked about, but it was a good win. Good game overall, too. I mean, high scoring. Will Robb said it wasn't going to be high scoring.
No. All right, Rob. So now we're going to move into next week's games. We're going to start with the game that Gavin just mentioned. Iowa State going on the road to Cincinnati. It's going to be tough for Iowa State. I think they got a good, solid squad coming in. Rocco Bex has been really good this year. But you know how the Big 12 is. There's a lot of good teams that get beat in this conference. I'm going with the upset. I'm going with Cincinnati coming in there and absolutely putting one on Iowa State.
Yeah.
I think they're pulling it off. I got 27-24 Cincinnati on a game-winning field goal. Save it right now. Cincinnati will get the job done.
All right. I'm gonna take the Cyclones. I still don't believe in Cincinnati. I just don't. I don't. They really haven't beat anybody good, and from what I've seen, they're mid at best. And first of all, the whole Big 12 is mid. So, I mean, I guess it could go either way. I just don't see them pulling it off. I've got Iowa State by 13.
All right. Well, obviously, I've got the Bearcats this week. Brendan Sorsby, highest graded PFF grade in the country at starting quarterback. They keep on talking about this Rocco Beck dude. I know he's decent, but he's just not on Sorsby's level. I don't think there's going to be much. I don't think there's going to be much defense played in this game at all. I think it's going to be just a lot of scoring, just back to back to back. So I got the Bearcats. I'm going to go 45-42 in a close one, but I think we bring it home in Nippert. Nip at noon, baby. Go Cats.
This one is a very tough one for me to pick because part of me says the Bearcats are like amazing because I was an honorary Bearcat for a weekend, and the other part of me says they ass and they just no one in the Big 12 plays defense, and it's so hard to pick these games. But I think because the Bearcats are at home, because I believe in that crowd and I believe in down the drive,
Oh my
I'm going
God.
to take the Bearcats. I'm going to take the Cats by 90. Brendan
Yeah.
Sorsby is going to take this game over, and I'm going to see the Bearcats in the top 25 for the first time in a couple years. So give me the Cats, baby.
Heck yeah,
All
baby.
right. I cannot believe there are 3 people in this podcast who picked the fucking Bearcats or the ranked Cyclones. Don't get me wrong. The Bearcats have looked decent in some games against teams that aren't very good. But, props to them. They got a win over Kansas at Kansas. And Sorsby led a game-winning drive. He didn't do that against Nebraska, but he did it against
He had one
the
bad throw the
Jayhawks.
entire game, but it's all right. Just came at the worst moment.
They got a
Keep
good
going.
win, okay? Good win. So this is a big one for them. If they win this game, I think they're on an upward trajectory for the rest of the season that could end up boding well for them, very well. And I think that this is going to be the story of their season. I think if they get this done, they could possibly go around 9-3. But if they lose, I think they're going to be around 7-5. And I think that's the trajectory I see this team going. Just because I haven't seen enough for them to be one of the top teams in the Big 12. So I think that they're going to lose this game, and I got the Cyclones by 10.
All right. Also for Cincinnati, the Godfather is back this week, so that
Back.
is going to be a big key for Cincinnati as they take on this game. The next game we're going to get into, this one's interesting. SEC matchup. Texas going on the road to face the Florida Gators. I don't know what it is, but someone's telling me this is an upset alert right here. I know it sounds crazy. I'm not saying I'm going to pick Florida. Obviously, I'm not going to pick Florida. I'm picking Texas in this, obviously. I think Texas is going to win the game.
Then why
But do
create
not be
narrative?
do not be surprised
Yeah,
if this game
bro.
is close. I'm going with Texas.
All right, guys, it's gonna be a very crazy game. Could be very close. Yeah, I'm taking Texas by 35 at least. I'm not taking
What is the
why you would ever take Florida in this game. I just don't see it. They've looked terrible against a lot of these teams they've played. Texas has looked at least solid, and their only loss has come from Ohio State, so there's no reason to pick Florida in this one. Texas
Arch
by,
Manning has looked mid at best, but
well, DJ Lagway is like a trash can, so
that's fair. I'm
might
just
be
saying
worse
South
than a
Florida.
trash can. I wouldn't give him
Yeah,
that.
I very badly wish Florida was like somewhat decent and I could pick them for this game because I don't think Texas is that amazing, but I do think Texas is still way better than Florida from what we've seen, and so I'm gonna get Texas here. It's not much else to say on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna take Texas, like Gavin said, if it was maybe Florida maybe was like in the top 25. If maybe Florida was in the top 25, you give them in there and you let them have a little upset game, but Texas's defense is insane. I can maybe see a little Arch Manning breakout game. We finally, see him figure out what shapes and colors are again and, how to throw the ball, but yeah, take Texas
Yeah, I
over
agree with
Florida.
John.
Thank you, Boz.
All right.
You're
I
welcome.
think I'm going to go ahead and take Texas here, too. Florida has a good defense, but they don't got nothing else other than that. And even though it's at Florida, I got the Horns by about 30 in this one. And there's not much more else to that. Even though Arch hasn't looked that good, I got Texas for sure.
All right, another SEC game we're going to move into. This one's ranked. College Game Day will be at this. Vanderbilt going on the road to face Alabama. As we just seen, Alabama's look good in these past couple of weeks. Vanderbilt's been a key underdog in this season so far. Diego Pavia leading this team on the road to Alabama. They beat them last year. Could they do it again? Possibly. Are they going to do it? No. I got Bama in this one. I think Bama could pull away with this one pretty easily the way they've looked. So give me the Tide in this one over the Commodores.
Man, I kind of want to pick Vandy, and I'll give you a reason why. Because, we've said that Alabama is this roller coaster team, and when they're good, they're good. And when they're bad, they're really bad. And I just feel like, they just went into Georgia. They're coming back home to a team that they're playing Vandy, and I know they're ranked and they're 5-0, but historically they've always whooped on this team. And Vandy actually looks good for once. So I'm going to pick
Last year
Vandy.
didn't Vandy beat Bama last year too?
I'm going to pick Vandy by 3.
Wow.
3 of them. I think the win at Georgia just takes a little too much to their head, and they lose to Vandy this next week.
I don't know, Jim.
Yeah, I got the Tide, baby. Nothing but Tide. I got Bama winning this. They're coming off. They're coming off a big win. I think they're gonna keep it rolling.
Brady making an appearance.
Tough win against Vandy, but I think they'll get it done.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing but to say but the Tide. I mean, that team, they looked really good. They convinced me last week that they are good. I agree that Vandy is pretty good. They look solid, Bender, so it's not really it's not like an out of this water pick, I think. I mean, I honestly was swaying a little bit towards Vandy because of last year, but this being at Bama in a ranked and with both teams being ranked, I think that's what gives them the edge is the crowd over anything else is that crowd in Tuscaloosa. So give me the Tide. Blitz, Bama, blitz.
All right, I'm going to keep it short and simple. Bama by 20. And they're not losing to Vanderbilt 2 years in a row. I don't care if Vandy's better than last year. It's at Alabama. They are not losing 2 times in a row, and that is it. They are winning for sure.
All right, well, we'll see what happens there. Hayden's got some guts going with Vanderbilt on the road, but we'll see how it goes. I wouldn't be surprised if Andy would pull it out. Last two we'll get into. This one's interesting. Boise State going on the road at Notre Dame. On this matchup, it actually looks interesting because Notre Dame, as we've seen, their defense has looked absolutely abysmal. They've been up and down the whole year. Obviously, they played Purdue last week. They got 28 points to Purdue, I think, in the first half, which was concerning to me. But this one, Boise's okay. I think Notre Dame at home. I'm going with the Irish. Give me Notre Dame in this one. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but I think it'll be closer than everyone thinks.
Hang on, I'd like to fact check Bros because I'm pretty sure he said last week Notre Dame played Purdue, and I think that was 2 weeks ago because I'm pretty sure Notre Dame
Yeah, they played
spanked Arkansas on the road.
Whoever they played was Arkansas.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, John, you good.
Yeah, this isn't close. It's Notre Dame by at least 20. I'm going to say Notre Dame by 30. And I know they're 2-2, but their 2 losses have come by like 1 point from a non-made PAT and then a losing field goal. So, I mean, and you could argue that those 2 teams that they lost to are top 10 in the country. So to see them losing to Boise at home, just no way. That's just not happening, especially since there's last 2 games they've absolutely curb stomped teams in the Big Ten and SEC. I know they're bottom tiers in those conferences, but you got to look at a Boise State team now that you just think that they could possibly beat. It's just not going to happen. Notre Dame all day.
I got Jeremiah Love takeover here. Notre Dame's winning by at least 3 scores. I don't think this is even going to be close at all. Boise State's getting ran over.
I've got a guest surprise pick. I believe in Boise State. I think Lou Holtz doesn't know what's going on. He's not the coach, but I still don't think he knows what's going on. So Boise State by 1 million.
So Boz is starting 0-1 in his picks, confirmed.
Till I win.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Irish here by a lot, and it's not close, and Jeremiah Love is going to run all over this Boise State team, and the Notre Dame children and the Irish are going to have a lot of fun watching their team spank Boise State. I'll just keep it at that.
Yeah, to be quite honest, I don't really know why this game's even on the slate. I think Notre Dame's going to just absolutely bend them over. And they're going to get their lick back for their 2 losses, and they're not losing this one at home. I think Boise State, even with Genty, would be losing this game too. So they're not going to win without him. Give me the Irish by at least 3 touchdowns, maybe 4.
Last one we went to is the primetime game. Miami, Florida, going down to Tallahassee to face a Florida State team that got upset by Virginia last week in an embarrassing fashion. Should not have lost that game. This game, it's an in-state rivalry. It's going to be loud. The environment's going to be awesome. I'm going my gut. I got the upset. I'm going with Florida State to bounce back and take down Miami, Florida. I'm trusting Thomas Castellanos on this one. I think he'll get it done. Give me Florida State in this one to upset the Hurricanes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Hurricanes. It's not a bad pick, bros, because obviously I've took Vandy over Bama, but I just don't see the Hurricanes losing this game. They're just the overall better team, and the fact that Florida State just lost their last game, which they should have won, just is another reason to pick Miami. So I'll keep it short. I'm going the Hurricanes by 10.
Best team in the country right now, and I got them beating Florida State after what we saw from Florida State last week. Florida State's a pretty good team still, but I got the Hurricanes.
I have another take. I agree with Gavin. I think Florida State hasn't done shit since I was born and never will do shit. I think they're a terrible team, and I think they're overrated. So, yeah. Hurricanes by a fucking billion.
Boz, have you ever heard of Jameis Winston?
Have you ever heard of Mike Dick in your mouth?
No,
All right. Well, after that wonderful guest pick from Boz, I'm going to take the Hurricanes here. That defense looks dominant, and that offense looks pretty dang good too. And yeah, Florida State looked like kind of buns against Virginia. I mean, losing in overtime to an unranked team is not a very good sign. But yeah, I'll take the Hurricanes. I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be a good game since it is at Florida State. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, give me the Hurricanes.
Yeah, I got the Canes too. I think that they're just completely much better. I think Carson Beck has just reimagined himself, and he looks like he did a few years ago at Georgia. I think he's really just found his spot, and I think that this team as a whole, their offense and their defense, the defense has been what's really surprised me about Miami. They've done very well on the defensive side of the ball, and I think it continues today. As long as they can contain Castellanos, I think that this game won't really be that difficult for them. I think that they could win this game by 2 scores, really, if they played to their potential. So I got the Canes.
yeah, on business back there.
All right. Now that's everything to do with college football for this week. Ohio State and Michigan, we didn't mention them, but they're both going to steamroll who they play this week. I think Ohio State's got Minnesota. They're going to steamroll them.
I'll be
Michigan
at
has
that game.
Wisconsin. We always got to remember, though, Hayden did pick Wisconsin to beat Bama, so we'll see. But Michigan's going to absolutely steamroll them by 30 points. But anyways, moving on to the facts.
I picked Vandy. I still don't believe in them. I feel like every other week they just play good, they play bad. And when they play bad, they play really bad. So that's why I picked Wisconsin. That's why I'm picking Vandy again. So
Badgers over Bama.
yeah, but Michigan steamrolled with Badgers. I'm never picking them again. It was a shot in the dark, and I believed it, and it didn't happen. So
Yeah, that shit got fucking rejected.
We're going to recap this last week's NFL games. We'll start with the early one. Hayden, you can lead us off here. The Steelers get a big win over the Vikings. Obviously, we saw the defense looked impressive, and, man, that offense is just up and down, man. I'm sorry. I mean, the fact, how many turnovers they had, what was it, like 2 or 3? Does anyone remember off the top of how many turnovers they had against the Vikings?
for the Vikings.
I think it's 2, maybe.
Yeah, and the fact they only won this game by 3 points, I still don't trust them. I don't trust this offense to be this. Like, the fact you get 2 or 3 turnovers this game and you only put up 24 points, like, you should be putting up at least 30 points with those turnovers. So I think the Steelers should have won this game by more, but they let the Vikings hold on way too long, I believe. But the Steelers got it done. You know, they get another win. So, Hayden, what did you see?
Yeah, I think the first 3 quarters we played very good football, and you know, at the end of first 3 quarters, it was 21-6, and it looked like we were just gonna run the ball and play good defense and probably win by at least 10. But that wasn't the case. It felt like we were trying to hand the game to the Vikings in the fourth, and the fact that we weren't doing anything on offense, and then our defense finally just like stopped playing for the fourth quarter. It was kind of concerning. And they drove down the field in like 2 minutes and scored a touchdown. And then they were down by like I think it was 9 or 10 or something, and then they drove again once we punted the ball or whatever, and then they scored again. And then we got the ball back under the 2-minute warning, and we didn't go for it on 4th and inches, and we decided to punt the ball back and give them a touchback for a chance to win the game. So it was poorly managed down the end, but I think, the first 3 quarters were a good performance, and, if they would have kept that to the fourth, I would have been more satisfied. But, a dub is a dub at the end of the day, and it is good to see our defense actually play solid now since they are the highest paid. But, I liked what I saw of the offense, too, for a good amount of the game because they didn't turn the ball over, really. They were efficient, and it's just Steelers football. Rely on the defense, and the offense just has to play solid football. So it worked again, and I don't see why it can't work for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'll tell you why it won't work the rest of the season. It's because you're going to start playing teams that are actually good and have their starting quarterbacks. The fact that you won by 3 points in this game and one of your touchdowns came from your defense too is just absolutely pathetic. Um, I like what everything I've said about the Steelers. I still believe in the defense. Just absolutely carries this team. Which, like, nothing against them. I think they're a very good defense, but Aaron Rodgers and that offense are just absolutely pathetic, like I've been saying since the start. I can't wait till the Steelers play a team that is actually, like, mediocre or above and that is actually, like, healthy. Like, I'm telling you, you play the Vikings without their national champion quarterback and you win by 3 points. Um, the only good like not even good team, mediocre team that the Steelers have seen so far is Seattle, and they took an L. So still not impressed at all by the Steelers offense whatsoever.
Here, sorry, Matty, before you go, I want to say something. Um, we've talked about on this podcast many times where teams have bad weeks. So that was a bad week for us. Just like the Lions lost to the Packers, a team that, Gavin thought they were just going to manhandle. They lost by 14. And I'm not going to sit here and say I think the Lions are a very bad team because they lost that game and the Packers beat the Browns, so on and so on. But, we lost that game because of like one play. We had a kickoff and our rookie running back just decided to touch the ball and just let it sit there in the end zone for an easy touchdown. And if that doesn't happen, I think we're 4-0 and we win that game. So I don't think it's fair to say that we lost that one decent team that we played. I think we lost that team because we made a stupid error. And if we don't make that error, like we don't 99% of the time we win that game, we're starting at 4-0. So obviously there's some tough teams that we got to play coming up. But I don't know. I think 3-1's a better spot than most of you guys probably would have thought that we'd be at right now. So I'm not too mad about it.
I mean, I think the difference between the Lions losing one game and the Steelers losing one game that maybe I'm trying to get across is that, yeah, the Lions, we had a bad game, but then we came back and have absolutely just been just killing people other than the Ravens, but the Ravens are a very good football team. So I've just yet to see that from the Steelers. But I mean, they have also yet to play someone decent. So I feel like we'll get to see that in the next few weeks after they play the Browns because obviously they're going to steamroll the Browns.
Oh, am I allowed to talk now?
Yeah.
Cool, cool. Thank you. Appreciate that argument, guys, over my stuff. But yeah, I thought it was a solid game from the Steelers. I mean, it is what it is. I think winning is the most important thing in the NFL at the end of the day. I mean, a win is a win, a loss is a loss, I think. And you're allowed to lose games like we talked about last week. I listened to the podcast this morning, so that's why I'm referencing that back. But teams are allowed to lose and teams are allowed to win. And I mean, if you find a way to win at the end of the day, that's a win. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Steelers, how they play football right now. In recent years, has that led them to playoff success once they get there? No. But right now, I guess it's not the playoffs, so you let them figure it out, and maybe the offense gets better throughout the season. They looked pretty good in those first couple drives. I mean, Aaron Rodgers and DK, they looked well in sync, and it looked solid. It was not the Chris Boswell, hype game that I was hoping for. But, my fantasy team still dropped 190, so it really didn't matter how well Chris Boswell did.
Yeah, I mean, I did predict the Steelers to win, and I don't feel good about it. I mean, I think they've looked decent. I think that their offense needs to show up more, but the thing is, they can still win games like they have been. And that's the thing I don't like about it. When they play better teams, their offense will need to show up more, most likely. But I think as they're playing these teams that are mid or worse than mid, they'll probably be able to skate by with just mostly defensive plays. I mean, that's what it's been taking for them to win so far, and it's been a decent formula. I mean, I haven't been too impressed by anything. Hopefully, Aaron Rodgers can get through the season healthy, and we'll see what they do in the playoffs. But I think that it'll be similar to what they've done in the past still. I don't think they'll be any better than they have been.
All right, we're gonna move into another game that so that was a blowout. The Lions took care of the Browns pretty easily, like I predicted, and it was not 30 points, but it was pretty close to that. Unfortunately, the Lions suffered some injuries on the defensive side, which the Lions fans can get into, how that's impactful for them. But, the Lions just dominated the game. Their offense looked very good. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a great game. Well, you can look at me however you want, but the Browns' offense, they're just shit. That's why Dylan Gabriel's starting this week, because their offense is just shit.
He's not starting.
All right.
Is he?
Yeah, he is starting, actually. You guys are fucked, because you're playing the Vikings, so you're definitely losing that one.
I'm playing Flacco, dude. I don't know what you're seeing that from.
Gabriel's starting, bro.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. If you're not looked on Twitter, he's starting.
You're not seeing jack shit, dude.
All right. But yeah, Lions get business done. They beat the Browns, and of course now they move on. They're playing the poverty Bengals now, so that's gonna be probably another win for them.
Oh,
so
shit.
Lions fans can get their opinions out and say what they want.
Yeah, obviously that game went about how I thought it was going to. Even though it was scores somewhat close, I'd say, throughout the game. It still felt like we were just dominating them the whole time, and then eventually we finally just broke them at the end, and then expanded that lead some more. Yeah, Will said we had some injuries. DJ Reed, or not DJ Reed, I'm sorry. Our starting corner is out. I don't know for how long, but hopefully we can get him back at least after a few weeks. Got carted off with a hamstring injury, so but yeah, I think we're gonna go smack the Bengals because they also have no offense either or defense. So
I mean, it's the Lions, so I'm not going to take against them, obviously. But this is not going to be a probably good game to sit down and watch, is my guess.
it's
Because
gonna
the
be awesome.
Bengals, yeah, it's going to be awesome as a fan. As a fan, I'm like, yes. But as, just someone who likes to watch football, don't put this one on. Red Zone might cover this every time Amon-Ra or Jameer Gibbs or David Montgomery goes in the end zone. That's probably about it. Or Jameson Williams or Sam Laporta or Brock Wright. Maybe he gets one. Or maybe Isaac Tesla. The list goes on for the Lions. But, I mean, unless Jake Browning is like Joe Burrow, how Bros said last week how good he is, he's so good. He's just great at football. But no, he's not. He's not anywhere close to Joe Burrow. If Joe Burrow was in the game, maybe it would be a lot closer in a real football game. But yeah, Lions are gonna just take care of business on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. Last week, I didn't get to catch too much of the game, unfortunately. I was out of town. I didn't get to see what ended up being a pretty lopsided game. I did predict this one to be closer. I did predict this game to be closer than it was. And it was close-ish for a little while. The Browns were outgaining the Lions at some point, but I think this game was similar to the Ravens game that the Browns played. They just pulled away late, and the Browns have no offense to show for, so they had no chance to make any sort of comeback. Flacco once again just couldn't get it done, and actually Bros was right. They are starting Gabriel next week. I unfortunately did not see this because it was announced during this fucking podcast. So sorry, Bros, I didn't see that. I think the Browns hopefully can do something better, but I really don't have high expectations because they still do not have a wide receiver 2 behind Judy, who is not amazing to begin with.
Put Shadur in. Put Shadur in.
Yeah, everybody wants Shadur. Everybody wants Shadur.
Yeah. Now, lastly, they're still shit. We're gonna talk about something else. Obviously, I'm disappointed. We should not have tied. We should have won this game if our defense could get any fucking stops and get off the field. But no, that's impossible for them to do. They let Josh Jacobs catch a 2-yard pass and turn it into a 25-yard pass. Like, this tackling effort's so bad. It's like what we saw in the Nebraska-Michigan game. That's what those safeties look like. They couldn't tackle for shit. Like, the defense is just absolutely atrocious. No pass rush. I mean, the offense looked fine. The offense looked great. Dak Prescott and George Pickens looked absolutely great. But defense is what was holding this team back. Any confident defense. But Jerry Jones is like, yeah, let's try the best defense. That's what it's about. But, obviously they tied. It's obviously not what they wanted. It should have won. But obviously this offense looks good. We'll see how it goes for the rest of the year. I still think they're a 7-10 team best, but we'll see. But anyways, anyone else got anything to add about any teams that maybe were good or maybe sucked?
Hold on, I want to talk about this game. Real quick, I just want to say fuck ties. The NFL needs to abolish ties because it is the worst thing to happen to football. They can keep that shit in soccer because it does not belong in American football. Bring in fucking college overtime because they need to just get rid of this. This is one of the best games that I've seen. Offense is just doing so good. Just score after score after score, and it ends in a tie. I mean, it just feels like I got blue balls watching that game. Like, I'm trying to blow my load. Like, come on.
I agree.
I mean, I just appreciate this game.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, you can go.
No, you got it.
Okay. I was just going to say I very much appreciate the Dallas Cowboys for at least tying them this game to put the Lions back in first in the NFC North. That was all I had to say.
Yeah, I was going to say, piggy off Will Rob. The fact that game is a tie.
Yeah, that's about everything we've had to add up this week. I seen Bender
just talked. Bender just talked with no.
Yeah, that's awesome. So obviously we're gonna move to next week's slate. We got a lot of games to predict for this slate. There's actually some good matchups, and there's ones that might be pretty obvious, but we'll see. Starting with the Thursday night game, San Francisco going on the road to face the Rams. It's gonna be a good NFC West matchup. These two teams always have classics. We'll see. The 49ers offense looks decent. Brock Purdy's kind of look questionable. Stafford, Stafford. The Rams are going to do what they do. Puka is going to have a good game, obviously. This could be the game for Devontae Adams. But obviously, I think it'll be close. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I'm going with the Rams on this one to get it done against the 49ers. Since it's in LA, it's at home. I'm going with Stafford and the Rams to get it done over the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Rams too. I think just their offense has looked insane. Puka's literally just running whatever route he wants, and he's just wide open every time. Or even if he's not open, Stafford just throws a dime and gets him the ball. So I don't think the 49ers have done anything too impressive yet. But I think the Rams take this one.
Bender, do you want to go, or do you want? I can just go.
You can go. I don't even know what games you guys are talking about right now.
We're talking about the Rams and Niners game on Thursday night.
You can go, though. I'll go last.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Rams. I think the Niners look very solid overall, but I just don't think they're as good as they used to be, and I think the Rams are just gonna kind of just. I think it'll be a good game overall, but I just think the Rams are a better team. They kind of proved that last week against the Colts because the Colts actually gave them a pretty big like climb back into that game. I mean, they put them down 10 points in the fourth quarter, and the Rams managed to come back and win. But I mean, that's what's most important. Like I was saying earlier, is wins, and the Rams, I think, are a team that can find a way to do them. Even though they had a heartbreaking loss to the Eagles, I just think the Rams are going to take care of business. I think they're going to be able to throw the ball with Puka and Devontae pretty well, like they've been able to the last couple weeks.
Yeah, seeing this game, I mean, I think that the Rams are going to be on a roll. I think that they look like a really complete team, and I think that Stafford's going to keep it rolling. I think Unc Stafford's got it more than Rodgers right now, so I think I'm going to go with the Rams. I think that they're just better, and I think that they're probably the team to beat in the NFC West right now.
Yeah, I'll take the Rams in this game. I do have Puka on my fantasy. Been like the best receiver in the league up to this point. If he's not the best, he's in the top 3. He's looked phenomenal. And then, like I've said before, I think Stafford is a top 5 quarterback. So I just don't see myself taking the 49. I've got the Rams rolling.
All right, this next one, if it's unanimous, we can just all say it. Detroit's going on the road to Cincinnati. Do we all got Lions?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, that's pretty easy. Well, the Bengals, yeah, it's obvious. The Bengals suck. They have no quarterback, and the defense sucks. You know what that means. It's going to be a Jahmyr Gibbs 200-yard game against them. So that's just what I have to say. The Lions are going to steamroll them. It won't be close. Hey, anyone else got anything to add about that, or do we just all agree that the same thing?
Yeah, no. Same thing.
All right. Next we'll move on to. This one's interesting. Denver looks solid the last couple weeks. Goes on the road to face Philadelphia. Obviously, the Eagles in the first half against the Bucs looked absolutely unstoppable. You know, their defense was making fucking stops left and right. That's second half or fourth quarter. God, their offense looked horrible. Jalen Hurts, I think, was 0 for 8 in the second half passing. Just not what you want to see. You know, A.J. Brown, I know he's a wide receiver 1, but my God, has he looked horrible. I mean, this guy, Hurts tries to throw in the ball, and it's not like A.J. Brown's just getting bullied by these corners. It's like, it's not the A.J. Brown we're used to seeing. And with Denver's corners they got in Pat Surtain, I mean, I think he's going to be on him all game long. I think it's going to be more trouble for the Eagles. I think Saquon will be fine. That Broncos defense is really stingy. So for that reason, I'm going Denver to get it done on the road against Philadelphia. I think that defense is going to be strong against the Eagles' offense. And I think Bo Nix is going to play well or decent enough to beat the Eagles. So I'm going to go with Denver on this one to get it done on the road at Philly.
I think Philly's just gonna stick it to the ground this week. Obviously, they got some really solid DBs, and Jalen Hurts just has not even been targeting A.J. Brown whatsoever, except one of their games. And if I were him, I would not throw it to him this week. So I think you just got to give the ball to Saquon and let him do his work this week, and I think he will be able to do it. And this Eagles defense too is very solid. So and the Broncos offense, they're decent, but I don't think they're going to be able to do much against this Eagles D. So I'm going to take the Eagles.
Yeah, I am also going to take the Eagles. I think Denver's a solid team, but I just think the Eagles are going to be able to run the ball, and I think if they can do that, I think they're going to win that game. I think that's like their more true identity than passing, which is why you don't see them like passing the ball all that much. But yeah, I got the Eagles. I think it'll be a good close game, but I think the home crowd also helps them out too. But overall, I just think the Eagles are a better team, which is why they're going to get it done.
Yeah, I think that this game being in Philly, I think Philly is definitely the favorites in this one. I think that they definitely have a much better offense than Denver. I like Bo Nix, but I don't think that they have enough firepower. I think that Philly, even if this game's low scoring, I think that the edge goes to them. For that reason, I think that they'll outlast Denver in this one.
Who you got, Hayden?
I'm going to pick against Philly for the third week in a row. I truly believe that their record is not as good as they look to be. They should have lost. Should have lost to the Bucks. I believe that they lost both those games. So I'm going to pick Denver over the Philly for the third week in a row. I don't know. I know they're the Super Bowl champs and they've got a good team. I don't know. I don't think they're as good as they're supposed to be. Taking Brown.
All right, we got 2 more games to cover, then we'll be done with the NFL slate. Sunday night game, New England going on the road to face the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, we saw the Bills this previous week. They struggled at times against a Saints team that's absolutely horrible. I mean, the Saints might be one of the worst teams in the NFL, and Josh Allen just looked like he couldn't get anything rolling offensively for a good majority of time. And I think this Pats defense, I think, is a lot better than what people are giving them credit for. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it could be – if you're looking at this game for a betting-wise, you probably want to take the under on this game because both these offenses are not like the most high-scoring offenses, even though Buffalo has scored more than 30 points each game as I say that. But I'm going to take the Bills, obviously, just because it's home. So I'm going to go with the Bills.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Bills. I think they just have a way better team than the Patriots. Obviously, we saw them against the Steelers. They turned the ball over like 5 times. So you can't be doing that. And I think this Bills team, Josh Allen, is just too good for them. So I got the Bills.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Give me the Bills. Pats just don't look good, and even when they do look good, they just aren't good enough most of the time. I mean, they got that Dolphins win, and I mean, they barely squeaked out of that too.
I think in this one, I think it's a bounce back game for the Bills. I think that they're going to come back from a mid performance and really just show what they're all about against New England. I think this game does have the potential to be high scoring, actually, because I think Drake May is a pretty good quarterback. And I think that he'll be a little second coming of Brady. Nowhere near Brady, but like a good replacement for him later on. You can sell your role. I'm not saying what you think I'm saying, but he's a good guy to come in and kind of carry the torch and be something that's respectable in New England. I do think that the Bills are just much better, though. Much more firepower. Josh Allen's just too good. Give me the Bills.
Yeah, I'll take the Bills. Bros.
Hayden, are you good?
Yeah.
He took the Bills.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah.
All right. Last one
Yeah.
we're getting to Monday night. This matchup's interesting. You know, Jacksonville is hosting Kansas City. This matchup's interesting. Kansas City obviously coming off that huge win against Baltimore, which we didn't even get to, by the way. Baltimore at 1-3. Their defense is absolutely horrible. I mean, and
Because
now
they have
Lamar
6
Jackson,
guys injured that are
Lamar
starters.
Jackson potentially being out 1 to 2 weeks, they could lose that game against Houston. They could be 1-5, and that is horrible. If they don't make the playoffs with this team, Harbaugh's got to go. I'm sorry. This Ravens team is too good enough to be not. John, I'm sorry. If you go 1-5 with this team, that's embarrassing.
How many
Like,
injuries do they have?
it
How
don't
many injuries
matter
do
how
they
many
have?
injuries they have.
It does. Bro, do you know who's injured? You clearly don't.
I think
But
Their
still,
Harbaugh's
though,
just
the
starting
ass.
D
Ravens.
tackle, their starting D tackle was out against Detroit, so that helped us run the ball. I'll admit that. Then they lose like 4 or 5 more guys against Kansas City, and then their 7th guy that they lose is their starting quarterback, who is basically half their offense because he creates such creative plays in the backfield and upfield while being able to run the ball. And you're telling me that Harbaugh should leave because he's having to manufacture wins with a backup quarterback. I and with injuries all across the field. That's insane to me. Like you're that's insane. Like that's saying that the Lions should be able to win the Super Bowl with the graveyard defense they had last year. Our offense was good enough, but we had injuries entirely on the defensive side that held us from keeping opponents to not score. When you have an injured defense like Illinois and Indiana, they had 6 of their starting DBs injured against Indiana. And what happened? They got rocked on the road because they could not handle the pass game against the Hoosiers let alone the run game. So if you're saying injuries don't matter and, that's why a coach should be fired is because injuries happen and, oh, he can't get it done with, half a team and an injured team, that's just crazy.
But anyways, we're gonna get into the game that I mentioned. Chiefs going to Jacksonville. This matchup's interesting. Both teams looking for huge wins. But the way I saw Kansas City play with Xavier Worthy back, I'm going with the Chiefs on this one. I think they're the overall better team, and I think their offense is going to start to get better and better with Rashee Rice coming back very shortly. So give me the Chiefs in this one over Jacksonville.
See, I got a little upset here. I think Jacksonville's going to be able to bring this one home. They've been just playing real well. Travis Hunter has looked very good, and I got the Chiefs losing another one and continuing to drop in the AFC West.
Yeah, I think the Jaguars showed a lot of grit and adversity, which is kind of crazy to say as a Lions fan, but against the Chiefs, they actually didn't look too terrible. The defense looked pretty solid, or not against the Chiefs, sorry, the Niners, 49ers, my mistake. I forgot they're playing the Chiefs this week, but against the Niners, they actually looked pretty good. They didn't look terrible, and being at home Monday night, give me Duval, baby.
Hey, do you want to
Sure.
go?
I'm gonna go with the upset as well. I'm gonna go with the Jags, taking care of business against the Chiefs. I know they just whooped on the Ravens, but like John was saying, they've got a lot of men down. A lot of their very important players, and still, I don't know. The Chiefs just don't see them like they're the best team like years past. So I'm gonna go with the Jags.
Yeah, I think that in big time scenarios, I'd rather trust Mahomes than Trevor Lawrence. I think that kind of goes without saying. And even though this isn't the best version of the Chiefs team that they've had in years past, I think that they just have too much experience in games like this. Even though it's on the road, I still got the Chiefs. I don't like it. I don't like the Chiefs. I'd rather them lose this game, and I wouldn't be mad if they did lose. But I think that the Chiefs are just too much, and I think that they're going to pull it out.
Duval. All right. Well, before we close the show, we unfortunately have to talk about some bullshit baseball that I had to witness earlier today. We saw Little League outfielders today, the Cleveland versus Detroit game. As you saw, Detroit pulls out a 2-1 win with an absolute dominant pitching performance by the Cy Young winner. Assumed it's going to be Tarik Skubal. 7 2/3, 14 Ks. Like, I'm sorry. You cannot be striking out 14 times expecting to win. Like, I know Cleveland had their chance in the bottom of the ninth, but if you K'd 14 times, you don't deserve to win this game for shit. I mean, Gavin Williams pitched his best game of his career. It didn't mean jack shit because Jonathan Rodriguez can't field a ground ball and Jockenzie Noel can't step on first base. Like, that's the two reasons they scored their runs, and it's absolutely abysmal to watch your team lose like that. And for us to bottom ninth, to have our best player up, get to third base, and then three guys can't sacrifice, bunt them home, or at least get a sac fly. I mean, just what are we doing? I mean, guards ball is about small ball, and the Tigers bunted more than us. And I've never seen the Tigers bunt once since I've watched them this year. Like, they're the guys that usually hit and don't play small ball. I mean, it was just horrible. And Jose Ramirez, I got to talk about this. How in the fuck are you going home on a play to the pitcher? Like, I don't understand. You don't go home on a ball that's hit right back to the goddamn pitcher, man. Like, I understand you go on contact, but in a situation like that where you're down 2-1 and you need a run to tie the game, like, he's supposed to be your best player and he does that shit to you. I mean, that's why this team is down 1-0 right now. I mean, this game could have been a tie game, but he doesn't have the base running IQ to figure out, let's not go home on a ball hit right back to pitcher. So that's all I got to say. Cleveland gave this fucking game away so easily. And I understand that Tarik Skubal had the best game of his career. I'm not saying that's not a big factor because he was very good in this performance. But, God, Cleveland could have easily won this game but didn't take advantage of their opportunities. And it's just disappointing. I hope they win tomorrow. I think they could still win the series. I think they got the pitching advantage going in these next two games. The Tigers put all their Infinity Stones in Skubal. which they got the win. They were supposed to win this game. So I still believe in this team. I think we can get it done. We just got to score more runs. If we can get early on Mize tomorrow, I will feel good about where the series is going. But that's just my rant because, man, the Guardians could have pulled this one out. But the Tigers get it done 2-1.
Yeah, I just like to start off. That is coming from a Lords baseball pitcher who throws 83. So that his IQ is still just not high enough for that.
John
But
Ford.
yeah, I don't think that's on Jose Ramirez at all. I don't think that's on Jose Ramirez at all. I think that's just him trying to go home, and here it is. Bender, you're lagging so much that your opinion is just voided, okay? Um, Fix the Wi-Fi, please. But more than anything, I think that was just a Tarik Skubal clinic that he put on. See a career high in strikeouts, Tigers postseason history high, tied for first in amount of strikeouts in a postseason game. And yeah, we put all our Infinity Stones on Skubal, but that's okay. We kind of had to do that because we need momentum going into a game. And I think hopefully the Gritty Tigers get it done tomorrow. But yeah, that is not on Jose whatsoever in that scenario. He kind of needs to run home because the ball's put in play, and he's hoping that he either misses the throw to home or he just gets the force out. But instead, he just doesn't even try and run home. He just stands there and gets in a pickle. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry, John, but I got to side with Bros on this one. That was an absolutely idiotic play by this supposed
Exactly, dude.
MVP
God has no
of
idea what's
the Major League Baseball, and I'm watching him. It's pretty
I
much
never
a
said he was
blank.
the MVP of Major League Baseball. I didn't say that for
Oh,
a second.
that's
you
just a
did a couple
Guardians
days
hoax.
ago. You said he was
That's a
up for it.
Guardians fans hoax right
Okay,
there.
he's a
did a
top
couple-
3 candidate. That's no doubt. But you cannot be making plays in a postseason game with a game on the line that you could potentially win. Like, I'm not saying it's all on him. Like, George Valera struck out swinging, couldn't put the ball in play. Cal Manzardo put the ball in play right back at the pitcher. How hard is it to stand there and just put one in the air to sack fly, score him? I understand it's a Major League Baseball. Hitting is so hard. But you had 3 guys. You had Kafis, Manzardo, and Valera. You could have bunted one of them. That probably would have scored him because McKinstry can't field for shit. I've seen that before. And if you could just hit a sack fly, that ties the game, and we don't know what happens after that. But, yeah, Joe Kenzie Noel and Jonathan Rodriguez, if I see them in the lineup again in this series, I'm going to lose my shit. I mean, they're two of the – like, why do we have Joe Kenzie Noel playing first base, but his primary is right field? And why is Manzardo DH and not playing first? Like, Stephen Vogt, I don't know what he was doing today, but he's got to respond. If we get swept by the Tigers tomorrow, that'd just be embarrassing. The way we've come back, if we lose twice to the Tigers in a row and we win the division just to get swept by a team that choked it, that's going to feel like we just choked it away pretty easily, the same they did. So it feels the same way. But, Gavin, you can get back to it. I just had to add him because that's some bullshit.
Yeah, I was pretty nervous we were about to choke another game away after I saw us just circus ball and chucking the baseball around the field at the end of that game. But luckily, the Guardians are bigger idiots than we are, so we were still able to close it out. I am still nervous about the rest of the series. I think it can go either way, just because obviously from what we've seen this season, Skubal has been our guy, and then we don't have much behind him. So we're gonna need to start raking if we want to win not only this series but more series to come after this. Because if we hit like we did today and leave people on base every inning, then we're not going to win anything.
All right. As a fan of the Cleveland Guardians / Indians, I just want to say that I'm not surprised, but I'm deeply disappointed in this performance today. First of all, the first inning, the first 2 outs of the game for Gavin Williams happened on 2 pitches. And then another ball on a few pitches later goes in the right field. It should be a single, so what? 2-out single, it's okay. But Jonathan Rodriguez fucking gets the EBGBs and drops the fucking ball, and it's a double. And right after that, Bloop single scores them 1-0, and that fucking stays that way forever. We have terrible at bats, and Jonathan Rodriguez can't hit. Jonk can't hit. Hedges actually draws a few walks. Good for him. He has better at bats than half our fucking lineup today. And guess what? We end up tying it up. They get a sack fly. They do all these things that we're supposed to do. And both teams didn't look that good at the plate today. But guess what? Gavin Williams pitched almost as well as Skubal. Maybe not the same amount of Ks, but the 2 runs that were scored on him were both unearned. That just goes to show that the team just has to be better. They need to make these routine plays that they've been making so often. And just no discipline at the plate, swinging at all these balls. Skubal did play very well. I'll give him the credit that he deserves. But going into the 9th inning, Jose Ramirez, the ball goes through Tork's glove. He gets all the way to third base. We have Valera coming up, which, I mean, man, he just had an awful at bat.
Chase DeLauder should have been up. I'm sorry. Chase DeLauder should have gotten the top opportunity.
You can make that case, but he hasn't made any major league action, so I understand that decision there. But strikeout, don't get it anywhere. The ball just stays in the fucking catcher's mitt. Next at bat, Manzardo, right to the pitcher. And I mean, honestly, if that ball's anywhere else, it probably scores Jose. You can blame Jose if you want, but man, he got all the way to third in the first place. He's just trying to score. And it just sucks that the ball went where it went because, I mean, if that's out of the infield, it's a run. And who knows what happens after that. It probably goes to extras. And I'd take our chances in that more so than in just the normal 9. And after that, game ends. And man, oh man, I'd like to say I'm surprised, but I'm not. I mean, it's just game after game in these type of scenarios. We just cannot score. Just so bad. And, I mean, I'd like to say I have hope for tomorrow, but, I mean, if we can't hit the ball, then we won't have a chance. So we're going to have to hope that Tanner Bybee pitches another gem.
Well, I got one more thing, Nat. I think Bybee's going to pitch well. I think the guy you want is Tanner Bybee on the mound. He's got playoff experience. You know, he pitched game 4 of the ALDS last year when the Tigers had a lead and had to clinch. They had a chance to clinch. So I trust Bybee. The big question is if we can get to Casey Mize early. Casey Mize is good. I'm not going to say he's bad and all, but we've seen 2 versions. We've seen sides of him that can be really good, and we've seen sides of him that he can be very bad. I think the big key for him is if Mize has his splitter working and his slider or sweeper, whatever it's called, I think he can be very dominant in this outing, but I'm not predicting that. I think the Guardians will get a couple on him. I think Jose is going to bounce back, you know. I think he knows what that locker room's going to be like. I think Stephen Vogel's going to have his guys ready. And I think these next 2 games could be high scoring. You know, obviously the pitchers, you know, Skubal and Gavin Williams, those are the 2 best guys on each team. There's no doubt about that. But what I'm saying is I think both these offenses are due to rake. I think Detroit's going to have a game where they absolutely mash. But I think if they're going to mash, I think Cleveland's got the chance to answer right back. And I think if Detroit gets it done tomorrow and wins, I'm not going to be surprised. Like, I didn't expect this Cleveland team to be in the postseason and all. The fact that they're even in it is insane. But if Detroit wins, you know, good for them. It's not like these 2 teams are going to do anything. Whoever wins this is getting bounced next round. Like, it's not a doubt in my mind. Like, Detroit's playing Toronto. If they win, Toronto's going to beat them. I'm sorry. But who knows? But anyways, I hope they win tomorrow. If they do, great. If they don't, I'm not going to be too upset about it. But we'll see what happens. But anyone else got to add about game 2 tomorrow?
I just want to say one thing. I don't know what Gavin said earlier because I've been just getting disconnected like crazy. But from my opinion, that whole game right there to get it tied was on Jose. I'm sorry. But when you're on third base and there are no outs and you go to home when it goes to the pitcher, that's like the shortest distance possible to get an out right there. You have 3 opportunities to get to home to tie the game up, and you just, as a possible MVP candidate, you don't make that bad of a decision when you're one of the best players in the league. I'm sorry. I don't watch baseball that much, but I know dang well that was his fault right there for them losing the game. He's the first out, and then they have nobody else on base besides that first base guy. So that's just a sell on his part, and you just shouldn't see that out of somebody of his caliber of play. So.
Anyone else got anything to add? Will, Rob, Gavin, anything else before?
I'm sad.
Yes,
Yeah,
by
that
90.
that was disappointing. Yeah, well, that'll do it for the episode of the podcast.
Wait, bros,
we appreciate
bros.
everyone listening and tuning in. And
Gross.
all right, Hayden, you want something to add before we go?
Yeah, so I thought you were talking about the Tigers game. I have one more topic to talk about real quick. It can be short. I would just like to talk about the Ryder Cup real quick. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoy watching golf, so I pay a pretty close attention to it. I don't know, but the fact that, I don't know if you guys know, but you need 14.5 points to win the cup You need 14 to retain the cup, so a tie. The fact that the U.S. was playing so bad on Friday and Saturday as pairs that they were down, I think it was like 10.5 to like 3.5 or something, was like the worst performance in recent history in the cup, especially when you're playing at home. And when you play on your own country's soil, you have like historically it's like a 75% win chance. So like you need to win these matches at home, and we just play terrible. But Sunday when we played singles against another single from the European side, it was I think we won like 8-10 or something. Like they made an amazing comeback, and the fact that they only lost 15 to 13 points wise was a phenomenal comeback, even though they lost. But yeah, I just thought I'd talk about it because it's like one of the best PJ events out there, and you're rooting for your own country. So I mean, even if you didn't pay attention to it, you still want your country to win, which is the U.S. So I thought it was fun to watch, but also very disappointing because I really believe we have the better players and
All
the
right.
best
Well,
players. Okay, I think I got cut off again. You done? You make me done, bros, or what?
that's everything I have to say. Does anyone else got anything? All right. Well, that'll do it for this episode of the podcast. Appreciate you guys listening, and see how the predictions go. Who's leading right now? I honestly forget. Who's leading the record? Is it
Will
Rob?
Rob is.
Rob, yep. I'm actually last because I suck ass, but we're not going to talk about it. We'll see how the records shape up after this week. That'll do it for the podcast, and we'll see you for the next one.
Peace.